taken with our introduction, we are very much into this climate thing and all. That's why to reduce the scope 3 GHG, we have made our panelists to come on online. And the another thing is that we just want to prove that we are into the international climate services. So even our panelists are from the international platform. Thank you and welcome all the panelists round over here. Hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. You know, world is being facing a lot of problems like Russia-Ukraine war. We have, bitten this China in the population, but still using mostly China products. This is also one of the problems which we are facing. Then AI threats of replacing us. So amidst all these problems, and yes, most important, a boss and subordinate relationship, we have a major problem which we are tackling nowadays is climate change. So there are multiple things, multiple seminars, multiple symposiums talking about the problems. Here we came for the solution. And that's why our this second panel discussion is all about business transformation in light of climate change. Because our investors and consumers are making the climate most central to their activities, and every now and then it is being getting demanded, specifically in the corporates. So, not emphasizing much about the climate change problems, let us talk about the solution. To having this in row and not wasting our precious time, I would like to ask our first panelist, Mohammed sir, one of my favorites one. When I started with EHS, I actually had my first Bangalore client as him. So we are very much have share a good rapport. So over to you, Khan sir, that according to a Greenpeace study, recent study, flooding, typhoons, and water scarcity have a greater impact on Japanese automobile manufacturers. What is India's automobile industry's take on this?
Uh, Thank you, Sandeep. Unfortunately, due to some my laptop internet connectivity issue, I could not join through laptop. I joined through my mobile. Hope I am visible and audible.
Clear, sir.
Vasanti, I'm audible?
Loud and clear, sir.
Yeah. Then thank you for invitation and thank you for this discussion also. So we'll talk about the topic which you have given is on physical risk. Okay. So there will be in climate risk. When we talk on climate risk, there will be physical risk and there will be a transition risk. Okay. When it comes to Indian automobile industry, not only automobile industry, like any other industry, to be concerned about the impact of climate related events on its operation. The consequence of this may be a physical risk, can be a flood, a typhoon, and water scarcity. Can have a significant consequence of manufacturing facility, supply chain, and overall business continuity. So, coming to a essential to that Indian automobile industry would recognize the importance of addressing these challenges. So, for this, what is that is there is a strategy of resilience to a climate change. When we talk about climate change, there will be a reducing vulnerability and increasing preparedness. When talks about vulnerability, where we have a chances of exposure and sensitivity. When it comes to a preparedness, there is a strategic planning is required. Based on that, we need to have one. There is a strategy called adaptive capacity, where we can work on how we can reduce on our vulnerability by limiting exposure on one hand and strategic planning on other hand. Okay. So this is where every automobile industry adopt and follow this. Okay, where some others also there where we can have the approach. The approach will be the identify risk in approach, identify risk in value chains, and identify risk for product. Okay. So this approach, with this we can aim to achieve like how we can go for physical risk and how we can going to adopt our practices. Okay. So there is a other way we can see that multiple automobile industry they're implementing some measures where based on that like the risk assessment and there will be a contingency planning for that. So where they can conduct assessment to identify the vulnerability of their facility and supply chains with respect to flood, typhoon, typhoons and water scarcity. So based on that finding, they can develop a contingency plan to minimize disruption and ensure a business continuity. We talk about like for example, if you take when we had an previous experience when I was in Mahindra and Mahindra. So one of our plant was face a water scarcity due to some geographical challenges and some state events. Okay, suddenly there is a water was given by a state government. Suddenly, due to some their other requirement of their business practice, the demand was stopped immediately without anything. With this complete industrial area, and there is a city also got completely impacted with this. Okay, and then we came to it is long backstory, almost 2016-17, which I am telling, which we were facing one of my previous organization, where suddenly it was happened. Okay, then it comes. So, what is our contingency plan? So, how we can overcome of it? The challenges will be there in industry to run with respect to water scarcity based on the geographical condition, area, location, and process there. So then it is came like how we can go with. Then there will be came within a temporary pond where we have an area of high water. Okay, the high rainfall is there. With this, we gather that water, but it took 6 months to adopt that practice. But we had an operation expenses almost 1:100 times government with them. So this is next coming to infrastructure investment. So what, how? So whenever any industry is coming now, the industry is coming now everywhere. We are talking about ESG, the practices, how we need to be ensured. So whatever the new infrastructure is coming, it may be an automobile industry, it may be any industry. The event like how we are going to be assess their facility requirement, geographical condition, physical condition. Like you take an example of Bangalore now present situation where we have recent from almost 10-15 years there is a metro rail project also happening, and there is an like physical risk which we can see to any all industry, not only automobile or manufacturing. You can see that IT sectors also where the risk is daily transport, daily commute is very challenges. With this, there are also huge impact when it comes to a their daily commute and this. Okay, and there will be a next is water conservation and efficiency. You can take an example of Bangalore, certain area already there is a NGT has given declared that there is a water scarcity already it is there. Okay, so same it can be impact to a automobile industry or it may be any other industry which can they need to be adopt a proper water conservation practices with their operations. Okay, this could involve implementing a recycling system, optimizing water usage, and promoting water efficient manufacturing process. Earlier in the panel discussion also, I heard Shirley was talking about that their process, how they're going to do that in three. The given best example of their what can car cleaning. Earlier we used to go for service center. There will be a water wash. Now there is many solvents are came. We can less water consumption. That is also it is an improvement. Where next coming to supply chain diversion. So to reduce this impact, where even the manufacturer may consider diversifying their supply chain to include a multiple geographical locations. Okay, not only strict to any one particular location where we have the tie with tier one and tier two. This strategy can help to mitigate the risk by minimizing the dependency on the single region. Maybe if the region is prone to a flood or tufan, then it will be high impact. So adding to that, we can go for the collaboration and advocacy. Like you can see that now the automobile manufacturers may collaborate with industries, associations, and government bodies. Okay, and any other like state environmental organization or central CPCB or SPCB where they can have a mini. Now you can see that recent amendment from last 3 to 4 years with respect to EPR. Earlier, we used to listen only a plastic waste. Now you can see that last year, recently, there will be a battery waste EPR also came, which all will be directly or indirectly it is impacting to a climate physical risk. Okay. Right. So this is what is there. Then so we are talking about general. Now I talk about particularly on Bangalore because I'm basically from Bangalore, but presently I'm working out of Bangalore. But where there is a one climate risk assessment done for the Bangalore Metro Rail project. Okay, so they have done it is in the 2016. Okay, so the risk what they have done is they have done normally Bangalore is likelihood of natural hazards such as cyclone. So they identified what is going to be impact with this. So they, as per their survey and their report, what they we are in three high risk. One is on cyclone, and next is water scarcity, and there will be a wildfire. So other two risk is earthquake and extreme heat. It is on medium, and river flood and urban flood also it is on low. Okay. So in that report, you can see that there is a detail. It is there what is going to be impact with this and a rail project. Okay. So and this all it is there with respect to a climate risk.
Thank you so much, Khan sir.